It's been a record month at the U.S. Mexico border. U.S. authorities caught more than 171,000 migrants trying to cross the border illegally. That's according to Reuters. That is the highest number in 2 decades. And a top border official says he expects more than 1 million migrants will arrive this year. It's been a growing challenge for the Biden administration, which is under scrutiny for the situation at the border. Tonight calls for the president to take action. Earlier today, I spoke with Congressman Henry Cuellar. He is a Democrat from Texas and serves as the vice chair of the House Appropriations Subcommittee on Homeland Security, representing cities along the border, including Laredo and Rio Grande City. He recently returned from a trip to the border and describes what he saw and potential steps toward a solution. Congressman, thank you for joining us today.
Thank you. It's a pleasure being with you, and happy Easter.
Happy Easter to you as well. So on March 22nd, you released a series of photographs taken inside that largest Border Patrol detention center in the country. It's a large tent facility in Donna, Texas. President Biden's administration has tried for weeks to keep the public from seeing these images. Why did you release them?
Who's going to speak for the kids that are under those conditions? It tells you a lot. I mean, I was just in Donna just a couple of days ago, and I saw really the same thing. You know, the kids are just packed all together. I saw kids with babies, that is 16, 17-year-old girls with 1 or 2 year babies. We saw also the Ansadua temporary outside facility, which is they're keeping people under a bridge. And there's 2 things happening real quickly. One is a lot of people coming in and not enough people going out. So instead of being just 72 hours at a Border Patrol facility like Donna, they're there from 14 to 20 or more days, where they're supposed to be there only for 3 days.
And you also talked to a lot of the immigrants who have crossed over. What are they telling you?
They want to improve their lives. And I don't blame them, but they're hearing the message. They're not hearing the administration message, but they're hearing the message from their friends, their neighbors, the words in the street. Hey, I got to cross. This is the time to come across. Then you got the criminal organizations that are aggressively marketing their services, if I can use that term, because they make $6,000 to $10,000 in every person. So you can imagine if we had 171,000 people that passed in March of this year, this last month, you can imagine if you multiply that by $6,000 or $8,000, and that's a lot of money.
So obviously the Trump administration got a lot of heat for the conditions that especially children were in. Do you see a difference between this administration and the last? I know there are more people coming in, but do you see in terms of their conditions any difference?
Oh, yes. I mean, what President Trump did was horrible. You don't separate a mother from a child. You just never do that. We don't do that in America. And what Trump did there was horrible. What the Biden administration is trying to be more humane. But at the same time, that humane face or trying to be more compassionate to the kids, the criminal organizations are turning that around, saying that now the border is open. Back in December 11th, I was talking to the local media, telling them that I had gotten a briefing from DHS where they were telling me that the criminal organizations were already marketing their services, saying the Biden administration is going to have open borders, and they were already staging people. Sure enough, we saw the numbers increase in November, December, January. And we saw what happened in February, went over 100,000, and now we think it's going to be over 171,000 for this month of March, which is higher than the high point that Trump had in May of 2019 when it was 144,000.
So the $1 million question, what do you think the solution is for this immigration situation?
Well, it's got to look at not only the long term in helping those countries, but the short term is we got to get those countries to do more. I mean, quite honestly, we have to do more. And we got to use the Title 42 a lot more. And that is the 1944 public health, where we return people. Because if we don't stop this cycle of people coming in where the bad guys win, the criminal organizations, then as we shelter more people and we release people without even a notice to appear, then that's going to feed to this whole system that the criminal organizations are winning right now. And all we're going to do is ask ourselves this question. What is the end game? If you ask somebody at the administration, and I want to be helpful to the administration, ask them, what is the end game here? They're not going to know what it is.
And what do you say to federal officials who have refused and ignored dozens of requests from the media to access these detention sites and get the pictures out there?
I think it's wrong. I mean, it's absolutely wrong. I mean, you know, we should have a little transparency, and sometimes it's uncomfortable. It's uncomfortable. I mean, what the truth is, I mean, we saw those pictures. It's uncomfortable to see kids in that condition. But I think we as Americans, I think the American public, they want to know what we're seeing.
Earlier this week, Congressman Cuellar teamed up with Republican Congressman John Katko, from New York, to introduce the Border Surge Response and Resilience Act. That would require DHS to establish a plan to address an increase in migrants at the border and designate $1 billion in funding for facilities and Border Patrol services.